Buff Nation!
Let's go!
Happy draft day, man.
Happy draft day. We put out the clip of Coach Prime when he got drafted, and it was just great seeing him in the black and gold all those years ago.
Yep, he knew back then.
Yes, he did. The line about, I thought Detroit was going to take me, I was going to ask for so much money they would have had to put me on layaway, is just such a banger.
We are DNVR Buffs Primetime. We're presented by Illegal Pete's. Check out any of their 10 Colorado locations for happy hour, 3 to 6 p.m. every single day. Jake Schwanitz, RK, back again. And we've got some commitments, Ryan, finally.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big one today, literally and figuratively.
Yep. And that's where we start. Amari McNeil commits to Colorado, former Tennessee Volunteer. We talked about him earlier in the week, I believe. He was a 3-star offensive tackle in the 2020 class. When he got to Tennessee, switched over to the defensive side of the ball. Redshirted his first year, played in spurts last year, but coming in as a depth piece.
How many wins did Tennessee have last year? 10?
A lot. Yeah.
10, 11? As I tweeted out yesterday, this, because his numbers don't jump off the page from what he did at Tennessee. And I said the same people who are trying to dunk on the Buffs for losing guys who couldn't play on a 1-win team are also trying to dunk on them for adding guys who were playing on double-digit win teams.
Yep. Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah, there's levels to this.
There are. But Amari McNeil, another piece for this defensive line.
This guy's a huge.
He joins Chaz Wallace from yesterday, D.V. Harris, Jordan Dominic, Levante Bentley, Jeremiah Brown. Yep. I don't know. We can keep going on with the front 7 transfers, but they've obviously attacked this area of need.
Right, and that was a big thing. Everyone said, well, all skill players. Where's the trench guys? Boom, there you go.
Yep.
Probably one of the best available interior defensive line players out there.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
At least from a pedigree standpoint. We have a few more that just entered the portal today that we'll talk about.
Let's go. Don't forget McClendon.
Of course. So Derek McClendon yesterday, and then yesterday during the show, towards the end, Chaz Wallace committed.
Yes.
From Old Dominion. Another big body. I think we can expect him to play inside. But they're really loading up on the beef, man. They went and got it.
And I think the places where you're seeing multiple transfers come in from is places that have someone on the coaching staff that Coach Prime trusts.
Yep.
That's my best guess. 2 guys from USF, 2 guys from Old Dominion. I want to say there's one other school that they've gotten multiple guys from.
Florida State.
Ole Miss? Oh, yeah, Florida State. Florida State, I mean, that one makes perfect sense.
Right.
Someone in these programs is telling Coach Prime, hey, you should go after these guys.
Well,
and he trusts them.
Look at where these coaches...
Not to mention the scouts and all that. But.
Right, but look at where these coaches come from. It's a lot of SEC coaches. Coach Brewster, Coach Kelly, Coach Sal. And that's just off the top of my head. I mean, Coach Bartoloni was down there in Jackson the last few years. Like, he's got connections around the South. So they're going for the best players available in the portal right now, and they're getting some hits, man.
Yeah, I mean, so far so good, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've yet to see, I think, a big miss in the portal in this, this go-around.
Do we consider the guys that already left?
No.
No.
What do you mean?
Taylor Upshaw and Tavion Beasley.
I mean miss in terms of you really wanted this guy and you didn't get him. Bear Alexander, sure, but, USC probably threw $10 million at him or something stupid.
Isaac Tesla.
That was last section.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Another commit, though, Brendan Gant.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where he's going to play. He's listed around 6'2", 200, was listed as linebacker, was a safety recruit back in, I believe, 2019. But just given what I just said right there, this is like a Swiss Army knife, really, for Charles Kelly's defense.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume he's playing linebacker. And you'll use him as more of a coverage linebacker, third down style guy who, obviously has the possibility to jump up in front of Levante Bentley and Demoy Kennedy if he shows it out there on the field. But I think the idea here is smaller coverage linebacker. We know they're stacked up at safety. So to me, it makes a lot more sense to add to the linebacking core.
This guy has played in over 30 games in his career at Florida State. Career stats, 112 total tackles, 5.5 tackles for a loss, 1 sack, 1 interception. Last year, 33 total tackles, 1.5 tackles for a loss, pass broken up, and a fumble recovery.
Yep. And remember, that is a guy playing real football on a 10-win team.
Yep.
Versus guys who are not playing on a 1-win team.
Interesting. I'm sensing a theme coming up in today's show.
I just feel like these people are like, oh, you hardly played at Florida State. It's like, cool. We're not trying to win the national championship this year. I mean, we are.
Right.
But when you're rebuilding a roster from ground zero.
Yeah, it's year one of a rebuild.
Yes. Getting guys who are playing on 10-win teams
Yep.
is a great step in the right direction.
And then we also had Gavin Marsh commit to Colorado. So he is class of 2023. It says on his Twitter bio. We're assuming this is a preferred walk-on. But a guy, I believe he's from the Missouri, St. Louis area. 6 foot, 175. So another receiver into the mix.
Let's go.
Probably, I think the biggest news from today.
Yes.
2024 5-star cornerback Charles Lester III
CL3.
scheduled to visit Colorado, man.
Huge. Huge. I mean, the fact that they're just constantly getting 5-star players on campus is remarkable. It's truly remarkable.
So you can see on his player profile on 247 Sports, his timeline. Looks like he's scheduled to visit Boulder on June 9th. So we still got some time until then. He has a visit scheduled out with Ohio State the weekend after. He's already visited Clemson, Florida State. I mean, it's a 5-star player, man. 15th overall player in this class, 2nd overall cornerback. So I think the cornerback right behind Ellis Robinson the 4th.
Just get them both.
Charles Lester III, 6'1", 171 from Riverview High School in Sarasota, Florida. Has at least 28 offers. All the Blue Bloods.
I mean, if you lose Juwan Johnson and turn around and get the number 2 defensive back in the country, just another time where you can shut everyone up.
I should note he has received 3 crystal ball predictions to Florida State. One was on the 17th, so 10 days ago. But obviously he's got some more visits to go on.
I'm gonna have to go check out the old Florida State boards tonight.
Oh, they're already on fire. The message board Twitter account or whatever it is already posted screen grabs.
Oh my God, they're the best, and when I say the best, I mean the absolute worst. But highly entertaining reads.
Yep.
They are going to lose their minds if this happens.
Can't wait. This is just huge, though, because it continues Coach Prime's kind of recruiting legacy, though. Travis Hunter, Cormani McClain, out and Ellis Robinson, who maintains that he's committed to Georgia and won't flip.
Yep.
But Charles Lester could be the 3rd consecutive 5-star cornerback to commit to Coach Prime.
Boom.
Crazy, man.
Would be unbelievable.
Yes, it would. All right. So some players who have been offered by Coach Prime in Colorado.
Really quick on Cormani McClain. We haven't talked in depth about him in a while. Obviously, he was here this last weekend, looking fly in the Louis jacket.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's notable that how much Coach Prime has talked about him, because I think there have been some people that are like, oh, like Cormani, who knows if he's going to be ready immediately when he gets here. Like the way Coach Prime is talking about him is he's walking in here and starting at corner.
Yeah.
Which I think you and I always expected. But I got the sense that people are like, well, let's wait and see to how he does when he gets there, which is true. But I don't think Coach Prime has any doubt in Cormani McClain's ability once he sets foot on campus.
Right. And even before Coach Prime, Colorado the last 4 years or so had no problem playing young cornerbacks. Kind of had to.
Yeah.
But, I mean, young cornerbacks play, especially in this league in the Pac-12.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're fast and long and can press.
And apparently he's a two-way player, according to Coach Prime. He had some highlights when we watched tape, man.
Yes, he did.
Like the ball in his hands, he's taking it back to the house.
Well, and that's the thing is like those ball skills.
Yep.
That's what stuck out to me so much with Travis.
Yes.
His ball skills are 100 out of 100. And you think about how, valuable that is as a corner, but also as a wide receiver, it just jumps off the page.
Yeah, especially for Travis.
Yeah.
That's what stood out to me immediately. All right, let's get on with it. Kiwi Rose has been offered by Colorado. Former Louisiana Tech defensive lineman listed at 6'3", 301. Last year,
Big boy.
played in 12 games, 24 total tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, and 2 sacks with 2 forced fumbles.
There's a trend here, and it's super productive players from lower levels and, guys who are lower than they would like on the depth chart at the big schools.
Yep.
And that is like the sweet spot of the transfer portal. That is where, there's no fanfare nationally around Shane Cokes because he came from Dartmouth. Go look at Shane Cokes' numbers at Dartmouth. He was a beast.
Yep. All conference.
And so it's no surprise when he shows up here and he's a beast.
Right.
Those guys are the ones who no one notices.
Yep.
I'm telling you, no one knows who Shane Cokes is except for Colorado fans. They're gonna know.
Yep.
And that's where Coach Prime, he's talked about scouting, which is such a NFL term. When people talk about having the best scouts, but he literally said we're gonna have the best scouts. That means they're gonna go find these guys at the lower levels, and when you hit on those guys, those might even be the more impactful. The guys who really blow up. The
right.
Jimmy Horns, who
yes.
again, if it wasn't for him he was noticed enough that he was considered like a high level transfer. But again, that's a great player from a smaller school.
Yep. Guys like Levante Bentley, who have been stashed on the roster for 4 years.
There's the other side.
Thrust into a starting role. Jordan Dominic. Kind of going with that. Coach Chaney, the director, I believe, of player development, tweeted out today, identified 4 Power 5 guys this morning, 2 defensive linemen and 2 tight ends. Just to your scouting point, these guys are really hitting it hard and like looking under every rock they can to find players.
Man, I would love to help with that.
Oh, yeah.
Like
watch film.
Watch tape of Louisiana Tech or whatever it is and be like, damn, this guy can go. Like, check this out.
That's all we have on offers, but former Oregon defensive lineman Sir Mells hit the portal. This was a 2022 3-star recruit. He's listed at 6'4", 310. Did not play last year.
Need.
Yep.
6'4", 310. Sign me up. How do you spell his name?
Sirmells.
Okay.
Sir Mells.
Sir Mells. Love it. He's knighted.
I wasn't pulling a bit on you, trust me. Last piece of news before we move on. Morehouse Football and Coach Prime are going to hold a football camp in Atlanta, Georgia on June 13th. Again, just with the scouting and trying to look under every rock.
And getting roots in the South.
Yes, exactly.
Love it.
All right, then. Let's talk about what everyone wants to talk about, the transfers out. But first, a word from Shadur's No. 2 Barbecue. Shadur's No. 2 Barbecue is a tomato-based, rich, thick, sweet, molasses-style barbecue sauce with tangy vinegar and fiery heat that finishes with a subtle smoky note. This barbecue was created in partnership between Shadur Sanders and PLB Sports Entertainment. And right now, you can head on over to plbse.com. For a limited time, use code ALLCITY, all one word, ALLCITY, at checkout for 10% off your order of No. 2 Barbecue. I made some chicken thighs last night, and I was really wishing I had some of that Shadur's No. 2 to just baste them beautifully.
Bro, just take some.
We don't have enough.
We had some on the set. You should have just stolen it.
I was told that's the prop. We have more coming in.
Beg for forgiveness. Don't ask for permission.
Okay. You said it, not me. Shout out to FOCO, the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise with a product line that includes apparel, accessories, toys, collectibles, novelty items, and more. You can get some sweet Buffs kind of Hawaiian decked out gear. They got the polo shirt. They got the hat that you wore a few weeks ago. They got the best officially licensed gear for all your sports and fandoms. So even if you are not a fan of Denver sports, check them out. FOCO always has our back for Colorado sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DNVR for 10% off at FOCO.
Coach Chaney's on one on Twitter today.
What do you say?
Well, he quote tweeted the Jason Brown rant. Did a shrug. And then he just responded to Matt McChesney's rant with the flexing emoji.
McChesney's was legendary.
Oh, man. When you get him cooking, you better get the hell out the way.
Whoever the third guy was in that show that was under
he
McChesney.
Looked so uncomfortable.
I know.
I didn't know it. He wasn't even tagged in the tweet. I was like, who is this guy?
Hilarious.
It's like a moderator?
Yeah. Just watch his face, because when Matt turns up like the heat, you can tell this guy's like, what is happening? Amazing content.
McChesney is quite literally one of a kind.
He really is. All right. An update on the guys leaving town.
So I keep seeing the number. Everyone loves to put out the number of how many people have transferred out of Colorado. You know, whether it's since Coach Prime got here, 51 transfers, or this spring, 43 transfers. Since the spring game, this many transfers. And to the uninformed, ignorant observer, they're just like, oh my God, look at this.
Yeah.
Coach Prime,
Big numbers.
Lost the locker room, you know, like losing their mind. So it's all about how many. We thought, why don't we look into what they actually lost? Not how many, but what they actually lost. So Jake, you dove heavily into the numbers.
Yep.
And we went through every position to talk about what, not how many, what they're losing, quote unquote. I don't even like that term, losing, but quote unquote losing.
We ready for the graphic then? Yep. All right, throw it on up. This is what the Buffs are losing. So 43 total transfer players since this spring window has opened. Went through everywhere. I mean, offensive line, DBs, front seven, quarterbacks even. And 3 interceptions from 12 DBs. I'm not going to read all these, but some that stand out. One offensive line starter.
Let's read them all. 11 touchdowns from 11 skill players. 1 touchdown per player. 1 total sack from the front seven. 0 multi-touchdown games from anyone. 11 players that did not play a snap in 2022. 13 players that played in 7 games or less. 2 total players out of 12, 13 DBs that had 1 PBU last year, and 1 offensive line starter. That's what they lost.
Yep.
And we went through. I mean, we can go through this position by position, Jake.
Oh yeah.
Quarterbacks, 1 completion, 3 yards, 25% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns. Running backs, 118 carries, 507 yards, 3 touchdowns from 3 running backs. Wide receivers, 50 catches, 883 yards, 7 touchdowns from 6 players. Tight ends, 1 catch, 4 yards, 1 touchdown from 2 players. I mean, we could go on and on and on. You know, 16 total games played, everyone combined, of guys that left on the offensive line. That's 6 players. On the defensive line, 8 total players. 84 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2 PBUs, 1 forced fumble. As I'm going through this, tell me if any of these are even 1 good season from 1 player.
No, not at all.
Linebackers, 35 total tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 2 PBUs from 6 guys. In the corners, 80 tackles, 2 interceptions, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 7 PBUs from 7 guys. Each one of these would be a solid season for 1 player. Safeties. This one might be the worst one. 5 players, 78 tackles, 1 interception, 2 PBUs. That's all. That's the whole. Not 1 position group combined created a good season except for wide receivers. You go through the wide receivers, and obviously we've talked a lot about Montana Lamonius Craig and Jordan Tyson. 50 catches, 883 yards, and 7 touchdowns. If 1 player did that, we'd say that player had a really great season.
Yes.
No other position group would you say that about.
Well, I looked at, just looking through this, and if you looked at, like, the defensive line totals, 84 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 0 sacks, 2 pass breakups, 1 forced fumble, you might get that from 1 linebacker this year.
Yes.
Also, when you add up the total tackles between the defensive line and the linebackers, it's 84 plus 35, so close to 120. And then the safeties and the cornerbacks, 158 total tackles. They almost doubled up the front 7 in terms of tackles. You know what that means? The ball's getting past the front 7
well, we
into
watch
the secondary.
games. We know that's what it means.
I mean, it's striking stuff, though.
It really is. And, I mean, you go through this. We said 24 total players who really weren't contributors. More than half weren't even guys.
Right.
When I say guys who weren't playing on a 1-11 team, those are who I'm talking about. 24 of the 43, and we're only talking about the spring right now. And then you look at these. There are 2 guys, in my opinion, who had a good season. It's Montana and it's Jordan. That's it.
And good season is
Right.
might be stretching it statistically.
And season is a lot for Jordan because he was hurt.
Right.
And didn't really start playing until a few games in.
Yep.
As a true freshman. Montana, even Montana, dude. 23 catches, 359 yards, 2 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
You expect that from what? Your fourth receiver this year?
Right. Yeah.
And that's kind of why I think he's in the portal. It is shocking. And I knew this was going to be the case when we opened up, and you did a lot of the digging here to find these numbers. When I opened up the doc and saw this, I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. You know, in some cases a little bit better than I expected, and in a lot of cases worse than I expected. The offensive line, there's all these names being thrown around. One of those guys really played.
It's pretty insane. Looking through it now, we're losing 10 total tackles for a loss. 10.
Yeah.
Again, we're
out of how many players?
Right. We may have multiple guys with 10 plus along the defensive line this year.
Jordan Dominic had 10 plus himself.
Yes.
This is like what I did yesterday with Alton McCaskill.
Right.
21 touchdowns by the whole team last year. Alton McCaskill, true freshman, 18 touchdowns. You could do this with probably every position.
Yep. Going through pass breakups. 11 total pass breakups from the linebackers and the secondary. Defensive linemen got their hands on 2 passes. 13 total pass defense.
It's mind-boggling. It really is just how little they got from any of these players. And, one of the things I liked about this exercise that we did is we don't have to name anyone by name.
Right.
I'm just showing you on the whole, what is leaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's next to nothing.
Yep.
It's essentially like you lost one player at each position.
Right. Yeah. It's production-wise. And then if you go by snap count, too, it's probably even less than that.
And then let's just look at offensive line. So you're losing 6 players. One was an actual player.
Right.
But now you have 6 darts to try and get 1 or 2 really good offensive linemen or 1 or 2 starters for you. And you already have, Landon Beebe coming in, a few other ones that aren't even on campus yet. But it's like you're moving out several scholarships for really 1 player's worth of production at each of these positions and getting yourself a chance to replenish that with a bunch of different options, Mm-hmm. If Chaz Wallace gives you 3 tackles for loss next season, he's the best player of any of the players that transferred out on the defensive line.
Yeah.
The best.
It's insane. This is including the leading receiver and the leading rusher, too. These aren't cherry-pick numbers. These are literally the guys who were producing for this team last year. Yeah. Producing.
And no one was producing.
No.
No one was producing. So that really puts into perspective what they're quote-unquote losing and why every time I hear that word, I'm like, they're not losing. They're gaining scholarships.
Right. And this isn't even all the players they've lost. This is just the spring window. You can go back to the guys they lost in December, the guys they lost after they made the coaching change in October, and it honestly doesn't even really change these numbers.
Nope.
At all.
No, I kind of wanted to do the quarterbacks.
Yes.
All of them, just so you guys could have seen the numbers that these guys put up last year.
5 players threw a pass, and Jordan Tyson was one of them, and he outthrew one of the quarterbacks.
Good pass.
Yeah, it was a good pass, actually. But last year, it's 50% completion percentage from these quarterbacks last year.
That is unfathomable in 2022.
I'm talking maybe just barely they broke 2,000 yards passing last year as a team with, I guess, technically 6 quarterbacks, including Jordan Tyson.
What did Shador throw for?
You're going to have to give me a minute.
It's in the 4s, I think.
I think he threw at over 4,000 yards. I think it was, close to 20, not 20, 40 touchdowns.
Good idea here from Robert. Once we kind of get a final idea of who all is coming in, do the same graphic, but for those guys.
For the guys coming in, for sure.
That'll be fun.
Absolutely. So last year, Shador Sanders, 3,732 passing yards, 40 touchdowns.
Wow. Rushing?
I don't have right now.
Dang.
Give me a second.
gonna say if it's over 300, then that's over 4,000 yards of production.
It wasn't over 300. 173 on 85 attempts. 6 touchdowns though.
So like 3,900 yards of production, 46 touchdowns.
Yes.
That's more than double the team.
Dude, this team threw more interceptions last year than Shedeur did.
Yeah.
He only threw 6 interceptions last year, and they threw 10 interceptions as a team last season.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy, man.
It was bad, and now you guys can really understand. We're actually still making some final tweaks to that graphic before it goes out on social media.
Yep.
But we need to get that thing to the moon so all the idiots out there get eyes on it.
Yeah. Finally start getting everyone on the same page. So yesterday, Jake Wiley entered the portal while we were on the show. I believe Taylor Upshaw and Mason Maddox did as well towards the end of yesterday's show. And then today, Nigel Bethel Jr. entered the portal.
There you
go. There you go. Oh, sweet.
We're good. We have it ready. We'll put it out as soon as the show's over.
I mean, I hate to say the word concern, but what do you think about guys like Upshaw and Tavion Beasley who have already entered the portal?
I just saw we saw practice, and we did see Taylor Upshaw make a play in practice one day. I remember, but on the whole, those guys weren't with the first team in practice.
Right.
And remember, there were guys who have now transferred out that were repping with the first team from last year's team. And so when those guys were behind players like a Nigel Bethel, then that I feel like the writing was on the wall. I'm actually really happy for those guys. I didn't know that you could transfer in and transfer out so quickly. And so I'm happy for those guys that they kind of got their chance here, saw that it wasn't going to work out, saw that they weren't going to be, again, talked to Coach Prime, I'm sure, and he said, hey, look, we had really high hopes, but I don't think it's going to work.
Right.
And now they get to go, wherever they end up and hopefully get a better opportunity.
Yeah.
To play.
With this whole experiment with how Coach Prime is trying to build the roster, I mean, it's going to happen. There's going to be some duds that they get in the portal, and it's just how it is, man. Not everyone is going to deliver as intended when they get to Boulder. Shout out to Shady Rays, an independent sunglasses company that has shades just as good as any expensive pair we've ever worn. Shady Rays is backed by lost and broken replacements. So even if you lose or break your pair on day one, Shady Rays has you covered, and they will get you back with confidence. Shady Rays also will allow you to exchange your glasses for a new pair if you don't like them within 30 days. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. You can try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people. Not much sun in Colorado recently. Been quite gloomy, man.
Which is very rare because we get 300 days of sun a year.
Yep.
So we're getting rid of the bad ones now.
At least it's warm today.
It is warm. It's actually a nice, like the whole. Are we in the clear? We might be in the clear. I'll touch wood.
Yeah.
But like I'm looking at every single day next week in the 70s. Let's go. We back.
We're back. Summer season. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Where right now, new customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. Tonight we have the NFL draft. Get in on some of those draft pops while you can before all the news starts breaking. I mean, very shortly, actually.
Yep.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code DNVR. New customers can make a $5 pregame moneyline bet and score $150 in bonus bets if their team wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DNVR. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelplinema.org. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Kansas, call 1-800-522-47 on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
So a gem from Sean in the comments who said Go watch Neely's video with Coach Sinceri today, and you'll know why Upshaw is gone.
Oh, interesting.
So we'll have to do that.
Coach Sal never disappoints.
Yep. I'm sure not ever. Coach Sal is not for everyone.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Let's talk to the people. What do you guys got today? John R. with the super chat. I know I'm just a bandwagon buff, but there's a lot of cap and personal opinion disguised as reporting by MSM and online CFB pundits out there. Yeah, it's a lot of capitalization on the sensationalism that you can get from this, what's been going on this week.
Absolutely. I mean, no one knows as well as us that if you talk about Coach Prime, people will listen. Mm-hmm. We just happen to do it in good faith.
Right.
Everyone out there just knows, oh, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the transfers. Everyone will, so you're getting a lot. I've tuned into multiple different things, and I couldn't even finish one. I'll just call them out from On 3 that I turned on because I was like, it's so ill-informed. Like, I hope that they see our graphic. We should send them the doc.
Yeah.
Just so they can have the information, because they're like, oh, yeah, they lost this, that, and the other thing in the secondary. How are they going to replace it? We just went through it. 3 interceptions? How are they going to replace that?
Yeah. Travis may have
with anyone.
Yeah.
They just need guys. So it's disappointing. It's frustrating, especially when I see it from local media. Just because I'm like, it's right here in front of you. You could have been at all of Coach Prime's press conferences when he told you all this stuff.
Right.
You decided not to be there.
Yep.
And because of that, now you're ill-informed, and you are, in my opinion, making the media look bad. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, is that like we sometimes get kind of lumped in with quote unquote the media. Mm-hmm. And you've got idiots interviewing Coach McCartney at practice when we were specifically asked to let him be. Obviously he has health concerns, and then the media gets a bad rap because of it. And I don't necessarily blame anyone for being mad at the situation, but I just wish that our colleagues in this industry were smarter.
On that, one thing, I mean, for these national people, I don't understand how you don't get it, because there's 4 YouTube channels that post every single press conference that happens in Boulder. And it's not hard to figure out exactly what these coaches are thinking and saying to the media. But they rather go on their own rants and whatever they want to say. And then also, just going back to that super chat, there's no bandwagon buffs. There's just Buff
buffs.
Nation. Yeah.
Just buffs. Let's go. I love that.
Yeah.
That's a pillar of this show.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's a buff if you're here.
Yep.
Unless you're a troll.
And Alyssa will take care of you if that's the case. Miller with the question. RK, would you rather have Horn and Hunter or MLC and Tyson?
I assume this is a leading question, and I'll give you exactly what you want. Obviously, Horn and Hunter. Mm-hmm. Not even close.
Yep.
It's still to be seen. Is Travis Hunter wide receiver 1 50% of the time? 70% of the time? Right. But there's more guys coming. There's more in the portal. Mm-hmm. They will be able to replace the 300 yards from Montana. Now, I will say, Montana was probably going to have a better season than that this year with an actual quarterback on his side.
Right.
And we'll probably see him go play well for someone. I hope he doesn't go too high, because I'm worried if he goes to Auburn, he won't play.
Yeah.
But, they'll be fine at wide receiver. To me, it's the easiest position to replenish in football.
Mm-hmm. Well, what we talked about yesterday from the Athletic article, Montana was the guy they wanted, and he left the portal, or for the portal, on his own.
Yep.
So, next question. Connor, did y'all hear about Munster Tigers rankings 1 through 5 of the players leaving? I did see that on he made a post on Buff Stampede. I think it was just a forum post. Posted all the players that entered the portal after the spring game, I believe, and put a 5 being this will hurt, all the way down to 1 being this will not hurt. Jordan got a 5.
Okay.
Montana got a 4. There's a few other 4s in there, but it's a lot of not gonna miss you.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't think I would have had a single 5.
I mean, yeah, Jordan Tyson is a 5 when you're not going to have him through maybe even half the year this year.
Right. And I probably would have been pounding the table for him to not play at all this next year.
Right.
Just get healthy, come back, do the Jamal Murray so that when you come back, you can truly be yourself and you're not, thinking about that knee at all times.
Right. Next question from Brian. What happened to Champion Johnson? Is he any good? I never see him on any position list, and I don't see him in the transfer portal. He was on the field in the spring game.
He made some plays, too.
Yeah,
His name came up.
Yeah, he was catching passes out there. I don't know how much he's going to play, though, because I'm pretty sure he's playing with the third stringers offense. Like, it was a lot of
is it Champion or Victory?
So Victory's the linebacker. He was the 3-star.
Okay.
Champion was at Cal.
Yep.
And transferred here as a preferred walk-on.
Okay.
He's playing tight end and H.
Tight end. Yeah. He had a drop. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
But he did have a couple catches too, I think.
Yes, he did. Chris Boomer, what's up? Jake, tweet that graphic so we can tag the haters and make it go viral. Awesome job. Thank you.
We will.
Do we do it now?
No, because we're gonna figure out the thread.
Oh, okay, that's right.
But we know you guys will be ready to blow it up.
You'll see it. You'll see it.
Let's get to 500 likes.
Let's do it. 4:15, 85 to go. David, what's up? Any beat on what the NIL numbers are looking like for CU and the players? I know some schools have deals for full position groups, which is awesome.
That's on local businesses, including us. We're working on some stuff for sure for some of these guys to roll out during the fall. But there's the Toyota deal.
Yep.
You just sent me.
Travis got a souped up Ford Ranger.
That is sick.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. So maybe is it a Ford? What's the name of the dealership? Phil Long? Phil Long Ford?
Phil Long?
I think it's Phil Long
I
Ford.
can find out in 2 seconds.
I'm 99% sure of that. So they're rolling in slowly but surely.
Phil Long Ford, Chapel Hills.
There you go.
There you go.
Also, what is that? I've never heard of Chapel Hills in Colorado.
Oh, I don't know. That's just what the @ is. That's what it says.
I know, it's weird.
Phil Long Ford to Chapel Hills. I don't
Sounds
know,
like North Carolina to me, but I've seen their ad, so I know it's in Colorado.
It does say Colorado Springs.
Okay,
on the
there you go.
address. So, Brian with the question: what do you think of Deion's recent recruit vid for May 30th tryouts? Do you think he'll get better dogs via walk on? Maybe, you never know, but it's kind of a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly going to be more desirable to say you play for Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're like a local high school kid who really stood out, but maybe didn't quite get D1 offers, you're gonna want to go to CU because like even whether you just want to play for a good football team or you simply want to be on campus saying like I play on the football team, which is now carries a lot of weight.
Right.
For the last 10 years or so, that didn't really do anything for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like that's a cool thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
So I think the walk on corpse or core will be a lot better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's already better if Caleb Mathis is one of them.
Exactly.
Jamel, what's up? Jake and RK, I see you met Gillie and Wallo in the CU meeting room. They crashed Coach Prime's office.
Yes, we got the Wallo seal of approval on our podcast here.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was right before we went live after touring the whole facility and stadium.
Yep, not on purpose.
No.
Our CEO, Brandon, is actually a huge fan of Gillie and Wallo, so I sent him that clip, and he just sent all caps, whoa.
I've had multiple people text me about that.
Oh, yeah.
You make what?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yep.
That was cool. I honestly wish we would have had like more time to talk with them. They were kind of like shooting a video. We were literally like seconds away from pressing go live on the podcast. We were also a little shocked because all love to Neely. He was like, no one's gonna come in here. And then like within 2 minutes they opened the door. I was like, oh shit. But that was awesome.
That was a fun day. Mike with the question: out of 85 scholarship players, how many actually play?
Great question.
40? I'm gonna say around 50.
Okay.
When you factor in everything.
A little gem of knowledge from Coach Prime's interview with Neely that Neely posted for the 2-year anniversary of the pregame show. I listened to the whole thing. I highly recommend it to Colorado fans. I'm sure all the Jackson fans saw it when it happened. But Colorado fans, go on to the pregame show. Go watch Neely's video that he dropped yesterday, which was actually a throwback to his first ever sit down with Coach Prime. But one of the things that stood out to me is Coach Prime said he does not like playing starters on special teams. Now,
I love that.
I think that probably doesn't necessarily apply to returners.
Right.
But I just, I like learning these little things about how he's going to build the roster and how he's going to design it. So, the way they talked about it was 11 starters on offense, 11 starters on defense, 11 starters on special teams. So there you go. There's 33, give or take a couple.
Right.
Yeah, and I guess you would say...
factor in your long snapper, your kicker, your punter.
20-ish depth players.
Yep.
55.
Yep. More than you think, especially in college. B-Dogs with the super chat. We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah.
Chad with the question. Jake and RK, do you think the new receivers going to work out with Shedeur, and can they stay on campus this summer? Yes, they can stay on campus this summer, and we'll find out how well they work together, I guess.
Yeah, they better work with two if they want to get the ball.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like when Peyton Manning was around, he would do his yearly wide receiver camp at Duke.
Right.
And it was like, if you have plans, cancel them, or else you're not getting any catches this season.
Right. Yep. I'm sure Shedeur is going to be working in the IPF quite a bit. Any thoughts on 5-star Sav'ell Smalls? On 3 said we are in the mix. I think we talked about him at one point. I don't know.
I recognize the name for sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to find him.
While you look that up, I can take the next question.
Okay.
It said they just posted it. All right, from B-Dogs22, supporting all the way down in Latonga. That is awesome, or in Tonga. That is really, really cool.
I don't know how to spell this guy's name, man. Sav'ell Smalls or something?
Sav'ell Smalls, Savell.
Okay, there's an apostrophe in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we talked about this guy. 6'3", 227-pound edge, was a 5-star recruit in 2020. I don't think he's gotten on the field much at Washington.
Yeah, the Washington game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Next one.
From Sean, the
From
legend.
Sean with the super chat. Speaking of Jordan Tyson, is another school going to pick him up that he won't be available till November?
Someone will for sure.
Yeah, he'll get a solid scholarship offer. May not play this year, but
Has he been posting his offers?
I haven't seen him posting anything.
It's funny how everyone does it the same way. Like, did one guy just start doing that, and then the whole college football world followed in their footsteps?
Someone was the catalyst for this new offer movement.
Go to Google Images, type in the school, save the first image.
I mean, it bumps up their followers. Montana's gained 1,000 followers since he's been in the portal.
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you get sniffed around by the SEC,
the
whole conference is following you.
Yeah.
It for sure does. And did you see... I don't know. I've been paying as much attention as I can to where these guys are getting their offers from. It is... There's another graphic we can do when the time comes.
Yep.
Where the guys actually transferred to. I mean, it's rough.
There's only 2 Power 5 players from the group of kids who have transferred out going back to October. So at least another 13, 15 guys. Only 2 of them are Power 5 players right now.
So Roddick.
And I just thought of the other one. Who was it?
Not Owen.
Kalen Moore went to Cal.
Right. And they lost to Colorado last year.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you might get 2 more. Montana and Jordan.
Honestly, though.
That might be it. Oh, I bet you Jake Wiley.
He's been getting some good offers.
Yep. So there you go. Oh, Cole Becker too.
Oh, right. He went to Utah. That's
Yeah.
right. We'll see if Nico gets any nibbles.
Yeah. I mean, if in the end 55 players transfer out and 5 go in the Power 5, that is yikes.
People were bringing that up for many years too about CU football.
Yep. That is bad.
Do we have any more? Yeah. RK, what's your Twitter bio? I'm sure.
So
Oh,
what's your
he's
Twitter,
just
bro?
asking for your Twitter.
It's at Ryan Konigsberg. I think if you type in at Ryan K, it'll come up for you.
Yep.
Is that a flex?
No. You can also type in the word Buffs into Apple Podcast and subscribe to our podcast.
You can, or Spotify.
Or Spotify.
First one that comes up on both.
Yep.
Let's go.
My guy James, what's up? What other developments would you guess we see this summer? What outliers still need to fall in place before the first snap? We're going to see commitments through July.
The whole summer.
I mean, yeah. Coaching staff set. I mean, really, it's just getting these last transfers in to round out the roster, and then it's go time, man.
How many open scholarships do they have now?
I believe we are at
40?
61 out of 85, so 20-some scholarships available. 25.
I think it's even more. I think it's around 25. I bet you, that will. You'll see a big chunk of it fill out in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But then there'll probably be like 10, 12 openings that slowly get filled out throughout the summer.
Right. It's not going to be just quick and dry. Like, here's the 30 new players that are coming in.
No,
it's going to take time.
Which is great for us.
Absolutely.
Give us something
great
to
for
talk
us.
about every day.
Yes, sir. We're going to need it. Anything else?
I mean, I certainly wasn't expecting a huge wave of interest in what's going on at Colorado this week.
Right.
Before it started all started happening.
I know.
So, well-marketed programs always find a way to be in the news. And we know that Colorado has probably the greatest marketer in the history of football running their program now. So there will be stuff to talk about.
Absolutely.
All summer.
Let's get 11 more thumbs up while we say goodbye real quick. Hit 500. No news on the Pac-12 media deal yet. They've been pushing that back for months and months and months.
I mean, over 500,000 people tuned in for the spring game. Someone's got to see that and want it.
Yep.
Spring game.
Yeah.
Just wait till you see the numbers from TCU.
Oh, yeah. Well, shit, ESPN hosted the spring game, broadcasting it. Maybe they should just take a look, another gander at the Pac-12 media deal. Maybe just throw another few million.
Maybe Chris Fowler can put in a good word.
Yeah. There you go. All right, we hit 500. We have a draft show coming up. What are we, live just before 6?
Yes, just before the first pick, we will be live. Both of us will be on there. Our other Broncos guys, Hank and Zach, alongside us. It's going to be a banger.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
We always have a lot of fun with it. And the fact that the Broncos don't have a pick means it's all fun tonight.
Yeah,
we're not even really working.
Well, and if the Broncos do end up picking tonight, we're having a party.
Well, I'll actually be pissed because it meant they traded Jerry Jeudy.
No, come on.
That's the only way they're getting into the first round.
Does it have to mean that? Sean Payton loves trading future first, bro.
Maybe. If they don't trade Jerry Jeudy and get a first round pick, I'll be hyped with you.
All right.
Appreciate you guys. Hey, blow up that graphic.
Yes. Stay tuned at DNVR _Buffs.
Yep.
Let's go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.